You're listening to the weekly Parsha Podcast with Ari Goldwag, recorded with Hashem's never-ending assistance in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel, 5780, 2020. This week's Parsha is Parsha Shmini, and in our Parsha, we have the 8th day of the Milum, the 8th day of the dedication of the mishkan of the tabernacle. This was the moment the entire Jewish people was waiting for. The Hashras HaShechina, the divine presence, is about to come onto the mishkan, the tabernacle, and the Jewish people are going to enter into an awesome relationship with Hashem. This was the climax of Yetzias Mitzrayim. The entire exodus from Egypt was in order to reach this very second. Pasuk tells us, "Vayhi bayim hashmini kara Moshe Aharon levanav zekenim-elders." On the 8th day, Hashem called to Moshe, to Aharon, and to his sons, and to the elders of Israel. And the Torah tells us the entire, all the things that needed to be done, all the korbanos that needed to be brought, etc. Now I'd like to share with you a beautiful piece in the Medrash that has to do with the zekenim-elders, has to do with the elders of the people of Israel. Because the elders of the people of Israel were called here, and they're called in other locations. We find that the elders are essential in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the service of God. Well, the zekenim-elders, what is the idea of the zekenim-elders? Who are these elders? Are they people who are old? Are they people who are smart? Are they people who are chachamim? What's the idea? Well, the zekenim-elders, says the Medrash, Amar B'Kiva Nimshali Yisrael La'oif. Beautiful Medrash. The Medrash tells us that the Jewish people are compared to a bird. The entire Jewish people are like the goof of the bird. Just like a bird, in order to fly, it needs to have wings. So too, the Jewish people can't do anything. They can't survive. They can't function properly without their elders. Who are the elders of Israel? We're going to see exactly who they are soon. What is their purpose? Their purpose is they serve as the wings of the Jewish people. We go into flight. We're able to soar to spiritual heights as a result of our elders. Okay. What is the idea of zikna, of the elders? It's zikna is great. Im zekenim chavivim heim. Im na'arm heim nitfala lahen yaldus. So Rabbi Yossi Bar Chalata says an interesting thing. He says that there are two possible ways of a person having zikna. Zikna could mean the fact that they're indeed elders, they're old, but it can also mean that they are zeshekana chachma, as the Gemara tells us, they are those who have acquired wisdom. Those who have acquired wisdom are also called zekenim, they're also called elders. So the fact that they have wisdom, so the fact that they're young and they have wisdom, the youth, the fact that they are young and they may not have so many gray hairs in their beard, the fact that they are young is secondary to the fact that they have great wisdom. Okay. The Tani B'Shimon Bar Yochai. B'Shimon Bar Yochai says, "Lebe makom echad, v'le b'shnei makom matzinu." Not in one place, not in two places have we found that Hashem gave honor to the elders. We're going to see that those who have this wisdom, those who are called the elders of the Jewish people, whether it's because they have studied the Torah and they are the wings of the Jewish people in that way, or whether it's because they are older, even people who are older and they've had many experiences also come into this category according to some of Moshiach. So we find that Hashem gives honor to them in a number of places. Basneh, when Hashem was speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Moses at the sneh, at the burning bush, he said, "Lech v'asata zekenim Israel." He said to him, "Go and gather together the elders of Israel." The elders of Israel are essential in the Geula process, in the process of redemption. B'Mitzrayim uv'asata zekenim Israel. When Hashem commanded in Egypt that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, should go to Paro, to Pharaoh, so he said to him, "You go along with the elders of the people of Israel." They were part of the story. B'Sinai, at Mount Sinai, it says, "Aleh el Hashem atav Aharon v'nadav yivushiv zekenim Israel." You are to go up on the mountain, you along with Aaron and his sons, and also the elders of Israel. And then he brings, first he brings a different pasuk. Bamidbar asfali shivim ish. We find in Bamidbar in the farther on in the book of Numbers, gather for me 70 great people. Ba'ol moed l'zekenim Israel. And here in our psukim, which speak about the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, he said to him to gather up the elders of the people of Israel. So you see how essential are these people? They come along with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the Gadol Hador. He's the Moshiach of that generation. And he is to bring with him the Ziknei Yisrael, the elders of the people of Israel. That's how essential they are at every stage, at every point. And in our psukim especially, you see that they are there. They are functioning at the Oyel Moed. They are functioning, just like we spoke about previously, about everyone fitting into a small space at the Pesach of Oyel Moed. This is the place of our connection to Hashem. This is the place of our relationship with Hashem. We need the zekenim. They are our wings. We need the elders, those who have zeh shekana chachma. And not only is it true in those times, it's going to be the same in the future time. When Moshiach comes, God is going to give honor to those who are wise. The verse tells us that there's going to be a time, it's Isaiah chapter 24, verse 23, there's going to be a time in the future when Moshiach comes that the moon and the sun will lose their light. They will be embarrassed, so to speak. They will lose their light. And what's going to happen? Who's going to get that light? And in front of the elders, his elders, it's referring to those who are close to Hashem, there shall be honor. So it's going to be the same thing, that the elders of the Jewish people are going to be involved in the end of days. Because obviously the end of days, the times of Mashiach, it all has to do with coming back into a relationship with God. The Jewish people are in their mishkan, their rectified state, and therefore the Jewish people, their leaders, their wings, are the zekenim. Rabbi Shmuel bar Baby, Rabbi Shimon Ruvain b'shem Chanina Omar, Asir HaKadosh Baruch Hu limnais la'yeshiva shel zekenim mishalai. Now the Medrash tells us something which is a very famous concept. It's important to understand. We're going to try to understand what the idea is, that in the future time, so Hashem is going to take all of these elders, and he's going to have a yeshiva. He's going to have a place where they're all going to sit. This verse that we just brought, it says that Hashem is going to be the king on the mountain of Zion in Jerusalem, and in front of him, v'neged zekenim of kavod, there should be honor for all of those who are righteous. Neged zekenim ein ksiv kan. It doesn't say in front of the righteous, it says in front of his righteous. Neged zekenim of kavod. The idea is that Hashem takes the zekenim, he takes the elders, those who have they strived all of their life, or they strove to have a real relationship with him, to understand his wisdom, to understand what is his will. Those who have done that all their entire lives are focused in order to come close to him. They will be given an opportunity to shine at that time. They will be given honor. So very interesting. We have two different descriptions of what the yeshiva looks like. Right? They're going to sit around. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be in the center. God himself, as it were, is going to be in the middle. And all of the tzaddikim will surround him in a circle. One description is that they're going to sit like a geirin. A geirin is a granary, and it seems to me, based on what's going on over here, that the granary was a place which was round. In order to take the grain and to do the things that needed to be done, the room was a round room, or the area was a round area, or it involved millstones which were round. So the tzaddikim are going to sit like a granary. And the verse tells us in Malachim Aleph in 1 Kings chapter 22 verse 10 that the king, Melech Yisrael, Yoshav, and Melech Yehuda, the two kings sat in the center and they were surrounded. In the same way, so what is the idea of Hashem being in the center? What is the idea that the tzaddikim surround him in a circle? So the idea is that Hashem is when we put Hashem at the center, it means that he is the focus. He's the focus of our lives. He's the focus of all that we do, of all that we're trying to do, all that we're trying to accomplish. The tzaddikim surround him in a circle of 70 tzaddikim, 70 righteous ones. We talked about the 70 zekenim. And the idea of 70 is always the ayin and the aleph. The aleph represents the 1. The ayin represents the 70. They both have a similar sound. An aleph is a open sound. The ayin is a tightened sound because it's where the aleph is the or with an aleph. It's the light. The or with an ayin is the skin. It's how we manifest in this world. So you have the Shivim Zekenim. They are, as it were, the manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. Those who are striving all of their days, all of their time, all of their mahus, their essence is to understand what is it? How is Hashem shining his light into this world? How can I do God's will in this world? That's their focus. And they lift us up. They are our wings, as we said. That they are the ayin, they're the 70, and Hashem is the one in the center. That they are all shooting out in every direction, right? When you have a circle, so the circle is the locus of all points from a certain point in the center, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Aleph in the center. He is the one in the middle. And the zekenim are the ones who surround him, are trying to reflect his light out into the world. God is the sun, as it were, and the zekenim are the moon. That's why it says the sun and the moon will lose their power, because the sun and the moon will no longer be those physical bodies. Instead, it will be HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the sun, and the zekenim will be the moon, shining out that light into the world. What is the idea of the Geirin, where the king of Israel, the king of Yehuda, sitting in a granary? That can't be. They were in a circle in order to see each other. Everyone is equidistant so that they can see each other. And that's what happens in a circle. Nobody's jealous of anybody else. Each one recognizes their place in the circle. Each one recognizes, each of the zekenim sees their special purpose, their special light that they reflect into the world. Their unique gavan is the word in Hebrew. The unique shade, the unique crystallized, I'm missing the word precisely, but the facet, that's the word I'm looking for, the facet that they represent, bringing HaKadosh Baruch Hu down into the world. Sanhedrin kachatzi, okay, we said that. Amar Shlema, anach hamete mitzumtzum b'nehoin. Hadod ichsiv noida bashar ba'al b'shifta im zekenim-elders. So the exact translation, I'm gonna give you just what the Eitz Yosef says on these lines. But Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, said that he saw with Ruach HaKodesh, he was able to see what's going to be in the future, and he was able to see Noida Basharim Bala. Hashem is referred to as the Baal, as the husband of the Jewish people. He is in the center of the Shar. Noida Basharim Bala, but Shiftayim zekenim-elders. He sits amongst the elders of the land, meaning the elders of the Jewish people. He sits in the center, and Noida Basharim Bala, because of the zekenim, because of the righteous who sit around him, as it were, so God's light is reflected out and it becomes known in public, basha'arim, in the gates, so to speak. It means the gates of the city, in the places where God is to be known. God is known through us. God is known to the extent that we strive to be zekenim, to be kind of chachma, to understand God's wisdom, to understand what is God's will in the world. To the extent that we strive for that, that's how we reflect godliness into the world. And the zekenim are the main ones. They are the wings. They raise us up. And I want to read one more last piece here. Hashem is going to he's going to lead a circle dance in the future. Pay your attention to the chayla, it means to the circle. The verse tells us that God, as it were, is going to be in the center, and the tzaddikim are going to point with their fingers. The revelation of Hashem, of course, God has no physical representation even. Maybe he manifests in the cloud, or he manifests in a way that we can see that he is there, but he's not physically there. But still, the clarity of the vision of the tzaddikim, of the righteous in the future time, will be so clear that they will indeed be able to point with their finger and say, this is Hashem. Let me read the pasuk again. Ki zeh Elokim Elokeinu olam va'ed. In another place it says, Zeh Hashem kivinu lo. This is Hashem that we have yearned for. This is the God forever. Olam va'ed is an aspect of, right, we find by Yovel. It said la'olam, v'avadei la'olam, means for 50 years. What is the idea of 50? It's a completion. It's 7 times 7. And you get to the number 50. Right? But the idea is that there's a completion. There's a circle. Like a circle is a complete, unified thing. It's a locus of all points around a center, as we said. So there's a completion of la'olam. La'olam literally means forever, but it also can mean to the aspect of 50, which is the transcendent aspect. It's the 8th aspect. And so the tzaddikim sit around, they surround Hashem, as it were, and they point to the center. They say, this is the Hashem. This is our God forever, which we've been manifesting in the 7 lower realms, in the 7 The 7 always represents the Yemei HaShavua, the days of the week, the Teva, the reality that we live within. But there's a beyond reality, which is the 50th aspect, or the 8th aspect, which the tzaddikim pull down, right? We fly up towards. We reach up towards with our wings. That's what the tzaddikim do. That's what the righteous accomplish and help us to do. And the idea is that Hashem is in the center. Hashem is in the center of our lives. That's what this pasuk is telling us. That's what the pasuk is teaching us. What are we to strive for? We are to strive like the zekenim, like the righteous, like the elders, whether we're young, whether we're old, whether we've seen it all or whether we've seen a little. Strive to understand more and more Torah. Strive to understand more and more what is Hashem's will for me. Put Hashem in the center of our lives. To the extent that we do so we become wings for those around us. We become the wings of this bird called Klal Yisrael. To the extent that we focus, that Hashem is in the center. And to the extent that we focus, so we get to stand at the entrance of the mishkan, of the tabernacle, on the 8th day, right? We spoke about the number 8. 8th is the transcendent. We get to point to Hashem, as it were. We get to experience godliness in our lives. We get to experience Hashem and connection to Hashem in our very lives. We get to point at the mishkan. We get to stand there at the entrance. And we also get to be there when Moshiach comes, when the Messiah arrives, and everybody knows about Hashem. Everybody knows about godliness in the world. So I want to bless you and ask you to bless me. Hashem should help us. That we should be among those zekenim. We should be among those who reflect Hashem's light, the aleph of His or in our very lives and out to others around us. Hashem should help us to be amongst those who point to the center, who are able to recognize that Hashem is the center of our lives and reflect that out to the entire world around us. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
This podcast was made possible through the gracious donations of listeners like you. For more podcasts like this, please visit www.arigoldwag.com or search on iTunes Ari Goldwag.